Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome everyone. So we were discussing chapter 4, text number 34 till 37, 38 we discussed last time. So the particular topic which is going on, the transcendental knowledge, how to acquire the transcendental knowledge, and what are the benefits of acquiring this transcendental knowledge. So the process of acquiring this transcendental knowledge, text 434, very famous verse, which speak about one should approach a bona fide spiritual master, submit himself to the spiritual master, inquire submissively, and render service. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. And once one approaches the spiritual master, a bona fide guru, what does the guru do? Guru will transmit that knowledge. First of all, the submission, it should not be based on some superstition. It should not be based on blind following that, okay, that particular guru has too many disciples, so I also will accept him as my guru. It should not be based on superstition, or he is doing some magic, he is putting his hand in the air and getting some vibhuti or something, some fruit. So all these things are not the process of approaching a spiritual master. And one should not approach the spiritual master for some mundane material benefit. The inquiry should be for the spiritual topics. So what does the spiritual master does? He will transmit that knowledge. So the three different elements which the guru explained. One is this material world, Jagat. This material world, the matter. So he talks about the matter. That yes, this material world is there. This is all energy of Krishna. And then the jiva, the second element, jiva. Jiva means the spirit, one who is trying to be the controller of this jagat, this material world. But beyond these two, the matter and spirit, there is third element, that is Jagadish, right? That is the Supreme Lord, who is the controller of both Jagat and the Jiva. So that is the knowledge which spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master imparts. The difference between matter and spirit and their relation with Jagdish, the Supreme Lord, who is the controller of both. And the benefit of this transcendental knowledge is it burns all the ignorance, all the sinful reaction, like the fire burns the hay into ashes, the fire burns the fuel into ashes. And also, this transcendental knowledge is compared to a boat. By taking shelter of that boat, one can cross beyond this material existence. So these are the benefit of acquiring the transcendental knowledge. Now, moving forward, in the next two verses, Lord Krishna is explaining what are the further qualities of a disciple. What are the further qualities that that disciple needs to be able to acquire knowledge? Okay, so text 439. श्रद्धवान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयमिन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेण अधिगच्छति. So here Lord Krishna is further talking about three qualities which a disciple need to acquire, or the disciple need to cultivate these three qualities to be able to acquire the transcendental knowledge. So what are these three qualities? Shraddha. Okay, one need to have that faith. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. One who is faithful, he will acquire knowledge. So Shraddha, that is the first quality needed, having a faith in the spiritual master, having faith in the teachings of spiritual master, having the faith in the process. So Shraddha, then the second one is Tatpara. Tatpara means eagerness. There has to be eagerness to learn, eagerness to serve. The third one is Sanyam Tindriya, control on senses. Okay, so these are the three qualities which a disciple further need to cultivate: faith, eagerness, and control on senses. So if one does not have control on senses or eagerness, his learning will be very slow. Like if you are cooking by putting the pot on the fire. So if the pot is directly on the fire, the cooking will happen in the regular time, in the normal time. But if you think, okay, anyways, the heat is rising up and you hang the pot 3 feet above the fire. So eventually, yes, the food in that pot can still cook, but it will take much longer time, right? Because the heat is not reaching properly. Because the concentration is not there. And the same actually applies in our sadhana also. We can apply the same principle in our sadhana, either it's chanting or it's hearing. If we are not attentive, if we are not focused, to that extent, we will see the effect of that activity. If our chanting, we are doing our chanting, but we are not focused on the chanting, the effect of chanting, which is to cut down all these anarthas in the heart, to bring the love of Godhead, that will happen in due course of time. But if the focus is not there, then it will be very, very slow. Right? On the other side, if you are very attentive in your chanting, very sincere, then you can see the effect very quickly. That's why some people make progress faster, some people make progress much slower. The reason is the amount of endeavor one is putting in their sadhana. Either they are being attentive or not. So here Krishna is saying faith, eagerness. The third one is control of senses. So then faith is very important because the starting process is with faith. Adhau shraddha tato sadhu sangat tato bhajana kriya to anartha nivritti. So the process starts with faith. And problem with people is not that they don't have faith, right? That is the bigger problem. People do not have enough faith, or we can say this faith also translates to interest also. They don't have enough interest. We tell somebody, please come to the temple, please come to satsang program, and they will say, "Ah, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll come it later in future. Kal karenge, kal karenge, kal karenge." A young boy may say, oh, right now I'm very busy with studies. Once I finish my studies, then life is all set, then I will do bhakti peacefully. Then after the studies are done, now, okay, now please take to the process of bhakti. No, I need to first find a job. Once I find a job, then life is all set, then I will do it. Then after he gets a job, okay, now do it. No, 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 I still need to settle down in the job. I'm still learning new things. And after few years, once I'm established in my job, then life is all set, and then I will take to this process. After 3, 4, 5 4 5 years, then he gets married. Now take to this process of bhakti. No, I just got married. Now I need to spend some time with family, with wife, and then I will take to this process. Then the child is born. Now they are too busy with the child. They think, oh, let the child grow up a little bit. Once the child grow up, then husband, wife, child together, all of us together will do bhakti. Then the child is growing up, they become too busy with children activities, sometimes this class or that class, just taking the kids running around with various activities. Then they think, oh, once child is done with his studies, then we will do bhakti. Then later on, oh, let the child get married, let we marry our daughter or son, and after that we'll do this bhakti. And all that they get into maybe 60, 65, and then they think, oh, let me now gain back some health. Right now I'm not keeping very good with my health, let me gain back some health, and then I will do bhakti. Because all these activities, things going on, the health deteriorates, right, by that time. So people keep saying, we'll do later, we will do later, we will do later in future. और कल कल करते करते क्या होता है, उनका काल आ जाता है. So while saying tomorrow, 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 ultimately their death is standing on the head. So problem here, people do not have interest, and the reason is because they do not have faith that this is the importance. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it talks about this Shraddha. What is this Shraddha? Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Koile Sudhrida Nishchay. Krishna Bhakti Karli. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. So what is this Shraddha is? So Shraddha is the confidence that by rendering devotional service to Krishna, one automatically performs all the other activities. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. So that is the confidence. That is Shraddha. Shraddha means having that confidence that engaging in devotional service is the topmost priority. And by performing devotional service to Krishna, everything else of life is finished. All other activities are automatically performed. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, another verse, it describes that where to find Krishna Bhakti, how to find Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti, if available somewhere, one must purchase it immediately without delay. And what is the price to pay for that Krishna Bhakti? It says, Tatra Lolyam Api Mulyam Ekam. Lolyam only is the price to buy that bhakti. What is that lolyam? Which we were talking about, this tatparata. Right? Lolyam here means greed, but lolyam means basically that eagerness, that tatparata. It cannot be attained with the crores of lifetimes of sukriti. The only price to pay is that eagerness to engage in Krishna bhakti. And what will happen if one engages in the devotional service of the Lord? Then achirena adigachati. He will immediately, without delay, he will attain what? Paramam Shantim. Paramam Shantim achirena adigachati. He will attain to the everlasting peace very soon. So that is the benefit of engaging in the transcendental loving service, or gaining the transcendental knowledge. So here in text 39, Lord Krishna is talking about the qualities a disciple need to cultivate to be able to progress in this process. And then text 40, Lord Krishna talks about who are not able to cultivate this transcendental knowledge. Who are these people? So text 40, Aghyascha ashraddadhanascha shanshayatma vinashyati nayam loko asti na paro na sukham sanshayatmanah. Okay, so these two verses are very important verses, actually, text 39 and text 40. What Krishna is talking about, the faith needed to cultivate this transcendental knowledge, overcoming all the doubts. So here Krishna is talking about three type of people who do not progress in this path. Agya means one who is in ignorance, who is without knowledge. Then ashraddhadhana means one who does not have that faith. He has many doubts. Sanshayatma means, again, sanshaya means basically doubt, and here it's one without trust, who still have so many distrust. So ashraddhana, sanshaya, basically both are in a similar category. So some people say Krishna is talking about two category of people here: one without knowledge and second without faith, who has too many doubts. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, actually here these are mention of three type of people: ignorant, that is agya, and then without faith, who has a lot of questions in their mind, that is ashraddhadhana, and then the third category who has no trust, sanshayatma. So these three category of people, sanshayatma vinashyati, they have complete kind of destruction in this path. Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham sanshayatmana. For a doubting soul, there is no happiness within this world or in the next. So these ignorant people, agya, what are these people? What does this represent? Agya means people who are at the animal level. So it could include animals, trees, and all who are ignorant, right? They cannot inquire. They cannot ask questions like the human beings. What is purpose of life? Who am I? What is the cause of these miseries in this world and all? So ignorant people, they are just like animals who also cannot utilize their intelligence. Their intelligence is at the level of animals. They just don't know. They don't want to know. They are just spending their lives as if being carried up, leaf carried by the air, or a stick of tree which is being taken by the water stream. If there is a broken branch of the tree, river is flowing, that broken branch, it just flows with the water wherever the water takes it. Or the kite, right, who is just flying in the air without somebody controlling that string, katipatang. So it just goes on with the wind wherever the wind is taking. So these people are like that. Sometimes people claim, if you ask somebody how's the life going, oh, just going on with the flow, right? That will be their answer. Or just going on with the flow. जैसे बस चल रहा है. They have no aim. They have no desire to know what is the purpose of my life. So that is agya, ignorant people without any knowledge. Then the second category is faithless. So faithless are those who know scripture, but they have no faith in the scriptures. Right? They keep questioning, they keep doubting. And because of that, even though they know the scripture, they have some knowledge, they have read, but they don't want to practice anything. You keep telling them, but they don't just take to the practice because they do not have faith. They're always asking question. Oh, why did Krishna do like this? Oh, why did Ram did like this? They want all the answers first before taking to any practice. So first answer all my questions. When I get full all the answers, all my doubts are gone, then I will accept your words and then I will take to this practice. So that is ashraddhadhana, faithless person. So people with no trust, that is sanshayatma, they have knowledge, they are practicing also something, but still they do not have trust either in the process or trust in the Lord. Okay, they may think sometime, oh, this is too much exaggeration mentioned in the scripture, like the power of holy name. The scripture talk about the power of holy name. Chanting one name of Krishna can relieve one from the millions and millions lifetime of their sinful reaction. And these people will think, oh, this seems to be too much exaggeration. How can one name give that much benefit? Or they have doubt about the power of the Supreme Lord. So these are the category of people who have no trust, Sanshaya Atma. Okay, so I will recap what are these three category of people. One is Agya, who is ignorant. This category means they do not have knowledge of scripture also. Second category, Ashraddhadhana. Ashraddhadhana means they have some knowledge of scripture, but they are always asking questions. They do not have faith in the words of scripture and they do not take to the practice. The third category of people, Sanshayatma, means they have knowledge of scripture. They are doing some practice also, but they do not have trust. They think it is just some exaggeration. So we can quote so many stories in this category where people have Ashraddhadhana or faithless or even Sanshayatma. One classic story we quote many times is the Brahman and the cobbler. How many of you know that story? The story of Brahman and cobbler.
Yes, Prabhuji, that rebirth of cow, that one.
Rebirth of?
He take rebirth as a cow.
Okay, maybe you are referring to something else. This is when Narada is visiting and he happens to meet a Brahmana and then he happens to meet a cobbler. And
Okay.
okay, so even though we have mentioned that story many times, I'll just briefly mention. So once Narad Muni is visiting on earth, and as he's roaming around, he happens to come across a Brahmana. This Brahmana is uh, following all the rituals, rules, and regulation. And when Narada Muni met him, this Brahmana received him and he asked Narad Muni that you keep visiting, you even visit Lord Vishnu. So once you go, next time when you go to Lord Vishnu, please ask, when will I go back to the Lord? When will he ask, bring me to Vaikuntha? So Narad said, okay, definitely I will ask him next time when I meet him. Then Narad Muni goes further and he comes across a cobbler who is sitting under a big banyan tree and making the shoe. And he is, even though a cobbler, but he is remembering the Lord. So Narad Muni meets him also. And he also asks the same question. If you happen to meet the Lord, please ask when the Lord will shower his mercy on me and when will I see the Lord face to face. So Narad Muni said, definitely I will ask for you. So Narad Muni goes to Vaikuntha, he meets Lord Vishnu and he tells about this Brahmana and the cobbler. Lord Vishnu tells this Brahmana, he will have to take 100 lifetimes, 100 births more before he comes back to me. And then this cobbler, tell the cobbler that after this lifetime, he will attain me, he will come to me. And Narad Muni was also puzzled, he was also surprised. This Brahmana who is following all the rules and regulation, performing all these rituals, he will have to take these many births, but this cobbler, he will attain to the Lord this lifetime. Seems to be some kind of contradiction here. How is that? And Lord, understanding Narad Muni's perplexion, he told, okay, tell the Brahmana if he asks you that what was Lord doing when you met him, tell him that I was putting the elephant through the needle of the eye, through the eye of the needle. So Narad Muni goes back and he meets this Brahmana. This Brahmana asks Narad Muni, so what did the Lord say? When will I go back to him? And Narad Muni said, Lord, you have to take 100 births still before you can go back to Vaikuntha. And this Brahmana said, I am such a qualified Brahmana, and you are saying I have to take these many lifetimes. I don't trust your words. Are you the real Narada or just some Notanki just wearing this costume or something? I don't trust that you ever met Lord also. Okay, if you met the Lord, tell me what was Lord doing that time. And Narada said, Lord was putting the elephant through the eye of the needle. And this Brahmana immediately laughed. See, I knew you are a cheat. I know you are not the real Narada. How can somebody put the elephant through the eye of the needle? I don't trust this. How can that be? So Narada understood why Lord had told that this Brahmana had to still take hundreds lifetime before he can come back. Because he has read the scripture, he is following just some rules and regulation, doing some rituals, but he doesn't understand or doesn't have the belief in power of the Lord, that Lord is capable of doing anything. What to speak of putting the elephant through the eye of the needle. So Narada Muni went from there. He came to the cobbler, and cobbler asked, so what did Lord say? Narad said, you will be able to go back to the Lord within this lifetime, after this lifetime. And this cobbler became very happy. He started jumping. Oh, my Lord is so merciful. And Narad said, do you want to know what was Lord doing that time? Yes, of course, please tell me. Narad said he was putting the elephant through the eye of the needle. And this cobbler again started dancing, jumping. Oh, my Lord is so merciful. He is so powerful. He can do anything. Narad said, do you trust this? That he can put the elephant through the eye of the needle? Cobbler said, why not? You see this huge banyan tree? Lord, if he can put this whole big banyan tree inside a small seed, what is the difficulty in putting the elephant through the eye of the needle? So Narad Muni also understood. This simple cobbler, even though he is just stitching some shoes, but he has so much faith in the Lord, his power and his mercy. So the whole story, it demonstrates somebody may be following some ritual, something, but they do not have the faith in the capacity, in the power of the Lord. So they have to continue so many lifetimes here. So that is what Krishna is saying in this Bhagavad Gita verse, Sanshayatma Vinashyati. For a doubting soul, there is no happiness in this life or in the next. And another story on the same principle here is, once there was a small boy, a very poor family, and this poor mother, she is a very great devotee of the Lord. And this boy does not have a father, and mother had put the child to go to school to a guru's ashram who happens to be in another village. So the boy has to cross through a forest in the middle between these two villages and then go to the other village, to the gurukul, to the school of his guru. And as he is passing through this forest, he is very afraid, very scared of some animals, that some animals may come and attack him or something. And this boy tells his mother, I am very scared of going through this kind of a forest area. And mother said, do not worry. You actually have an elder brother. Just always remember your elder brother, and he will always be there to guard you, to protect you. And this boy asked, oh, I have an elder brother. What is his name? How does he look like? And mother told, your elder brother name is Gopal. Whenever you feel scared, just call out Gopal, and he will be there to guard you, to protect you. How does he look like? Oh, he has very curly hairs. He's putting a peacock feather on his head. He is wearing a Vajanti mala, a yellow dhoti. So she told that you have this elder brother, his name is Gopal, and this small boy, he became very happy. Now, whenever he's going through that forest, if he feels scared, he said, Gopal, Gopal. And immediately Gopal appears, because this lady is very great devotee of the Lord, even though very poor, but she is completely dependent on the Lord and having complete shelter of the Lord. So this Gopal appears and he holds the hand of the child and just takes him on the other side and then again disappears. So one day, this teacher, he said, we are going to celebrate this Guru Purnima, and everybody should bring some kind of a treat from their home. So this boy, he also went home, and his mother was very sick at that time. And he said, I don't want to trouble my mother. And how can she prepare any treat to take for Guru Purnima? And as he is going next day to the Gurukul, he thought, let me just call my elder brother Gopal and ask him if he can give me something to take to my Guru for his Guru Purnima celebration. So he called Gopal, Gopal. Gopal appeared and he told Gopal, I need something to take to my Guru. Can you arrange something? So Gopal gave him a small pot with kheer inside. So you take this pot. So this small boy just took that pot and gave to the Guru. Guru took that pot. He said, oh, this is such a small pot. There's such a small quantity of kheer inside. What can this do for to give to anybody here? And he just poured that in a big pot, and to his surprise, this whole big pot got filled up. And this teacher was very surprised. Whatever was there in that very small pot, when he just dumped into the such a big container, that whole container filled up. Then he took that container and poured it to even a bigger pot. That pot became filled up. This teacher was very surprised. He asked, who gave you this? He understood this is some magical pot. So who gave you this? Boy said, oh, my elder brother gave me. You have an elder brother? I didn't know that. So what is the name of your elder brother? Oh, his name is Gopal. Whenever I'm coming through the forest, he helps me. Whenever I call him, he comes there to help me. And he started describing how does the elder brother looks like. And the teacher thought, this guru, I have heard about Krishna, but I thought Krishna, this is just some understanding of some bhaktas, but ultimately the Lord is just some energy, just some impersonal Brahman. And he is describing about the form which is mentioned in scriptures. Is it really true? Is it really real? I want to see him. So he told this small boy, can you take me to the forest and call your brother? I will also like to meet him. And the boy said, yes, of course, I can take you. So they came in the forest, and this teacher hid behind a tree, behind a bush, and told the child, oh, you call your brother. He said, why are you hiding? I will just call him. You can meet him. Why you don't have to hide? I said, no, 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 don't worry. I will just hide there. You just call your brother. So this boy started calling, Gopal, 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 Gopal. As he calling the name of Gopal, this time Gopal is not appearing. This boy is calling, and Gopal is not appearing. And this boy started crying. Every time I call you, you appear. This time, why are you not coming? And then Gopal basically appeared in the form of just sound as Akashvani. Akashvani happened. He said, I know you have complete faith in me. Whenever you call, I appear. But today, somebody else is there who is not eligible to see me. And he is hiding behind to see me face to face, but he's not qualified. So I'm not appearing in front of you. And the teacher also heard that Akashvani, at least through the medium of this child, he happened to hear the voice of Krishna. So when the voice also disappeared, this guru came and embraced the child. Oh, you are so great that Krishna was personally coming and appearing in front of you, and you were able to see him face to face. I never have had the faith in Krishna, faith in the words of the scripture, even though I'm following this, practicing this, teaching this to others. I did not have faith in these things. So that is another story. Somebody have the knowledge of scripture, they are doing some so-called practice, but they do not trust the words of the scripture. So Sanshayatma. So Krishna is talking about here these three category of people: Aghya, Ashraddhana, and Sanshayatma. Okay, so these people with no trust, these are like the suspended stage, right? Even though they are practicing something, but they are neither on this side nor on that side. They know a lot, they can't leave also, and they can't survive inside also. So once somebody said joining Krishna consciousness is also like a mafia, joining mafia. In mafia, what happened? You know too much to leave now. So same way, sometime when people are in the process, they are practicing, they know a lot. They think, oh, we have to just continue like that, but they do not have trust also. So not that neither on this side nor on that side. They're just in a suspended stage. the sanshayatma vinashyati, fall down for the doubting soul. And in text 41, Krishna further says, one who act in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action and whose doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reaction of work. So, one who is acting in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action. Ultimately, all the doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge. So there are various aspects of knowledge in Krishna consciousness. Okay, sometime we may also get this doubt. If we also have some questions and we want to ask those questions, so are we also in the stage of ashraddhana, that we have some questions, some doubts? So where do we fit in? So we have to understand there is various aspects of gaining knowledge in Krishna consciousness. Some things strike to us as true in the first hearing. You heard something for the first time and it just strikes us that yes, this is perfect, this is completely true. Some things are, we understand them as true after some contemplation, after some discussion, then we come to accept those. Yes, I accept these. Some things are that we realize after years of practice. Once we have got enough purification, after years of practice, then we accept, then we realize those things. And some of the things may still be that we may never understand. Even after the whole lifetime of practice, so many question answer session, still we may not understand. So there are these four categories there to understand knowledge. So I will give you some example here. So just consider this example. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dukhalaya Ashashvatam. This material world is Dukhalaya. So when we hear, we may not understand at the first hearing, but maybe we understand after some contemplation and some discussion. Right? Some people may accept this Dukhalaya Shashvatam in the very first time because they have already gone through some realizations in life. Oh yes, this material world is full of misery. So some accept this in first hearing. Some may accept this after going through some contemplation, some discussions. And another example is Krishna says, you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. For some people, yes, they accept it immediately. Some people, it may take some time to come to that level of understanding. Another example is, oh, God is not impersonal, but he has a personal form. And we may realize this after years of practice and purification. Oh, yes, Krishna has a personal form. Theoretically, we may accept it in the beginning, but we come to that level of realization maybe after years of practice and purification. Sometimes we talk about, oh, Krishna is performing the pastimes with the gopis. How gopis' love for Krishna is not material, but at the spiritual platform. They are going in the night, and we may think, oh, people go in night to the night clubs. Is it like same thing? These gopis are going to see Krishna at night. How is this pure and transcendental? People may have doubt like on these type of pastimes, these type of leelas of Krishna. So we may theoretically accept these in the beginning, but slowly we understand that Krishna is reciprocating with the devotees. The devotees may be in the male form or female form. For Krishna, it does not matter. He is just reciprocating with the jiva, with the living entity. Like Lord Ramachandra, he may embrace Hanuman. And for us, it will be very easy to accept that. Yes, Lord Ram is embracing Hanuman. The same way, if Lord Krishna is embracing the gopis, people may ask many different type of questions. Oh, how can Krishna do that? How can Krishna meet the wives of other men and all that? But for the Supreme Lord, it is the same reciprocation. Either Lord Ram's reciprocation with Hanuman or Krishna's reciprocation with the gopis. It's same thing. So we may come to that level of realization after years of practice and that purification. So the point of these examples is the spiritual knowledge fall in different category. Okay? Some we accept as true in the first hearing. Some we may accept as true after some contemplation and discussion. Some things we will be able to understand after years of practice and purification. And yet there are some things which we may never understand practically. Practically, yes, we may accept, but practically we may never understand. For example, many times we ask this question or we hear people asking this question, that how did the soul fall from the spiritual world in first place? Right? Why did the soul fall in this material world? At what point of time did that happen? So we may get some answers, we may theoretically accept it, but we may never come to that real understanding. And one should not let these doubts suck us all our energy. It's not that in our material education also that we understand everything in the first day. You go to the physics class, doesn't mean that you will understand the whole quantum physics or the whole chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry in the first day. There is a structure how to understand this much in the first year, this much in the next year. So same way the spiritual knowledge is also like that. You cannot expect everything to be understood in the first time and then I will take to this practice. No, this is not how it works. So the focus should be on the central point, that Krishna is the supreme lord. My relationship with Krishna is jivere savrup hoy krishnera nityadas. I am supposed to serve Krishna. I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. So understand the central points and leave aside all these peripheral things for time being. Okay? Don't let the doubt suck up all the energy. Now, once one person asked this question to Srila Prabhupada, how many soldiers were there in Ugrasen's army? So Prabhupada said, one may say, where did they all live? Because we read that in the army of Ugrasen or even in Kurukshetra war, 7 Akshani Sena and 11 Akshani Sena, these are so many soldiers. And people ask, how did they all fit in that one war field? How was the arrangement done for everybody's eating and all that? And Prabhupada says, is this the only topic you got to talk to other people? If somebody, you are thinking of what if somebody asks this question, is that the only question you got to talk to other people? You focus on the central philosophy, central principle, and leave aside the peripheral things for time being. Don't worry about all those things. Oh, how many this thing happened or how that thing happened and all that. So we need to have faith in the scriptures to a level where we can at least take the next step. Faith means climbing the stairs when you do not know where the next step. So text 42, now Krishna is concluding this chapter with this statement. Krishna is telling Arjuna, right, that whatever doubts have arisen in your heart out of ignorance, they should all be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, remove all your doubts, whatever has arisen in your heart because of your ignorance, with this weapon of knowledge. So we should also remove all these doubts which are there in our heart, and we should be very confident in taking to this process. Yes, there are people who have practiced this in the past and they have got the success. Our acharyas are explaining us, take to this process and you will get the ultimate success of human life. Your life will be successful. So we should just follow in their footstep, follow in the footstep of the previous acharyas, and with faith, we should take to this practice of Krishna consciousness in the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And in that way, our life will be successful. So with that, this chapter concludes. Now I have some questions for all of you. Before that, if you have any question, you can ask, or otherwise I will ask some questions. Okay, let's see if anybody has any question or comment. No? Okay, maybe I will ask the question then. So based on what we have discussed in chapter 4, at least in the last set of verses, so question is, what are the three important aspects of approaching a bona fide spiritual master?
You need to have faith, eagerness, and be able to control your senses.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that is one which we discussed in verse number 39, which Krishna is explaining, right? These are the three qualities one can progress in spiritual knowledge: faith, eagerness, and control on senses. Yes. And based on text 34, chapter 4, text 34, what are the characteristics mentioned there? What are the important aspect of approaching a spiritual master?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Be in a humble mood.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
The three aspects are first is pranipatena, pariprashnena, and sevaya, which means pranipatena means we should pay obeisances with humility, and pariprashnena means inquiring submissively, inquisitiveness, and sevaya means to render service to the spiritual master in a humble mood.
Okay, good. Yes, so these are the three important aspects of approaching a bona fide spiritual master: humility, submissive inquiry, and then service attitude, sevaya. Okay, next question. What are the glories of transcendental knowledge? This is text 35 till text 38. There are some verses talking about the glories of transcendental knowledge. And Krishna gives some analogies to explain. Who will like to answer?
You can't get it through reading the scriptures. It has to go through a master who could explain it to you.
Okay. I mean, that is the criteria to get the transcendental knowledge. But what are the benefits, the glories of the transcendental knowledge?
One will come out of illusion and will know the Krishna.
Okay. One is one will come out of illusion, one will never fall back in illusion again.
And identify Krishna as a Supreme Lord.
Okay.
I see Krishna everywhere and Krishna, everybody in Krishna and Krishna in everybody.
Yes.
And though they have not been very good persons, sinful person, but they will cross over this river of bondage of life and death.
Okay, good. That is text 36, right? Where Krishna is saying the transcendental knowledge acts as a boat to cross beyond this ocean of miseries. Even the api chetsu papebhyo. Even if somebody is considered as the greatest sinner among the sinners, even that person can cross beyond this ocean of misery by taking shelter of this boat of transcendental knowledge. Yes, that is the glory of transcendental knowledge. Okay, anything else?
All the reaction, your karmic reactions will be burned.
Yes. So because of the transcendental knowledge, all the previous reactions will be burned away. Like the example of fire given here, right? The fire burns to ashes all the fuel. So same way, this transcendental knowledge burns up all the sinful reaction. So that is the glory of transcendental knowledge. All right, anything else? So to summarize, one is getting the transcendental knowledge, one will come out of the illusion, right? One will not fall back in illusion. Second one is, even if somebody is considered the greatest of sinners, even that person can cross beyond this ocean of misery by taking shelter of the boat of transcendental knowledge. Third one is, all the sinful reactions will be burned up like the fire burns the fuel. And of course, with the transcendental knowledge, one is able to see Krishna everywhere and in everything. Okay, next question that is based on just what we discussed today. Describe the fate of a faithful person and the fate of Sanchayatma, doubter. What is their destination?
A faithful person would reach Krishna, but one who doubts has no chances of being at Krishna's feet or seeing him or meeting him.
Yes. So the faithful person will attain to that supreme transcendental position and the transcendental peace immediately without much delay. Achirena adigachati, paramam shantam achirena adigachati. Right? He will attain to that everlasting peace in a very quick time. That is the fate of a faithful person. And what is the fate of a person who is faithless and always filled with doubts?
Go through many rebirths, so he won't attain the Lord's feet quickly.
Yes, one will have to go through this cycle of birth and death, many lifetimes. Sanshayatma vinashyati. So try to remember these keywords also, right? Paramam shantam achirena digachati. That is the fate of somebody who is faithful. Paramam shantam achiren adigachati. And the person who is faithless, what is his destination? Sanchayatma vinashyati. For doubting soul, there is no happiness in this world or in the next. So those are the destination of faithful and faithless person. So what we should be doing is we should overcome all our doubts and gain that confidence in this process of Krishna consciousness, that I should act in this process with full eagerness, with full faith. And yes, I cannot wait for all my questions to be answered. The answers will come in due course of time. I should just put any doubt, whatever I have in my mind, on hold. In due course of time, Krishna will provide me the answer. I do not have to wait for all the answers to first engage in this process. Okay. And now the next question, the 4 category of knowledge which we discussed. What are the 4 categories or 4 steps in gaining that knowledge?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Some may accept the knowledge immediately, some may take some time, or some we accept after many years of practicing, and some we may not even accept till the time of our death.
Yes. Anybody else would like to rephrase based on their understanding? Some devotees, only 2-3 devotees are speaking. All other are quiet. Anybody want to take it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah,
Hare-
so as mentioned, as Mataji has mentioned, so there may be a few topics which may be able to understand immediately, like once we take up to bhakti, and like a few things like which we may not be able to comprehend initially, but as we progress, like we will be able to understand understand them, and there'll be like a few topics like which we will realize after like years of spiritual practice.
Hmm.
And there may be like a few more things that we may never be able to understand through our life.
Yes.
Or-
Then we may theoretically accept those, but we may not
yeah
be able to practically realize those things,
Really.
right? Certain things like that. Yes. So the point of this mentioning this is just have faith in Krishna and in the process, and just continue in the process. And with time, Krishna will give us the intelligence, Krishna will give us the realization for us to be able to kind of gain that truth or understand that truth. And one more question now, based on our previous discussion which has happened. What is study of Shastra really mean?
Study of scriptures,
Yes.
learn
I
person.
will give one hint. I will give one hint. We had given a kind of a mathematical equation. Study of scripture is equal to this plus this plus this plus this. So what does study of scripture mean?
This is
Hearing.
Shravana, Manana, and Smarana. That will leads to the realization.
You missed one aspect in between. So
Shravana.
yes, that is mostly correct. The study of scripture is equal to Shravanam plus Patnam plus
Pathanam.
Mananam.
Kirtana.
And when we do these three, we are first you hear, then you read, then you try to contemplate on that, internalize. The way you have any material subjects, right? In college, you go attend the lecture, you hear the professor speak, so that is hearing. Plus then you come back and you study the book. So you study the book, plus before you have attended the lecture, so your understanding becomes better, improves. Plus then you try to think about that topic, internalize, contemplate on that. So Shravanam plus Pathanam plus Mananam, plus then you put it into practice, right? Some practical experience, some practical, that is service. So plus service, right? When we engage in some practical service, that leads to realization. Okay, so for us to get some realization, there has to be some service involved. When we engage in some service, that leads to realizations after we have done hearing, reading, and internalizing. So that is the equation. Always remember, study means all these things. Study doesn't mean simply reading the book, right? Just simply reading Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I have studied Bhagavad Gita. Reading and studying are two different things. Reading is one element of study. So study of Shastra means we need to do all these things. Okay, I think we'll end it here, and let's see if anybody has any other question. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Any other last minute question, comment?
You also say the 4 steps of reaching in a way that you have to overcome ignorance, build faith, have eagerness, and then control your senses.
Can you repeat, bro? I couldn't understand your first part.
Could you like say the 4 stages to attain the Lord? Could also be put as you had to overcome your ignorance, have faith, have eagerness, and then be able to control your senses.
Yes. So control of senses will come with time, right? It's not the starting point that first you have full control on your senses and then you engage in the process. With the time, we improve our sense control, in the sense giving up the certain activities of our sense enjoyment. But we start the process with faith, then you develop that eagerness to know Krishna, to serve the devotees of Krishna. So there is faith, there is eagerness, and we acquire knowledge in the process to overcome our ignorance, right? And plus, then you cut down the activities which are unfavorable for Krishna consciousness, which is the enjoyment propensities. So try to control the senses and engage in the activities which are favorable for Krishna consciousness. That will help us to move forward to the stage of developing nishtha, then ruchi, asakti, bhava, ultimately prema. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Then we can have all the devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.